Do you have any idea? Any idea how many countdowns I had to scrap before I made this one?
Sanity, I bid you adieu. Just about every aspect in video games, or in any form of media, have qualities that make them either completely lovable or completely hateable. There are levels that are either a joy to play through or leave painful memories, gameplay mechanics that are either fun to utilize or are the simulation equivalent to cancer, and characters that you looked up to as role models or, okay, can I stick sharp things in your eyes? But, if you know how to read titles, that's not what I'm preparing to talk about. Unfortunately, boss battles are no exception to the good to bad ratio, and now I'm gonna look at my least favorites of the bunch. Oh, I'm sorry. How could I be so unspecific? I forgot to put the neon lights in the flashy, but not too flashy because of epilepsy, text on the least favorite portion of the sentence. But in all seriousness, these aren't technically the worst bosses in existence. Well, for the most part, just the bosses that I really hate. Just cue the transition. What is this game? Why does it exist? Why can I do this? Why can I do that? Why can I do all of this? Why does the voice acting suck? Why is Sonic so slow? Why is the relationship between Sonic and Elise so awkwardly creepy that they end up kissing each other on Sonic's own deathbed? And why is the fight with Silver just so hilarious? No, really, I can't hate this. The entire time of hearing Silver's broken record quotes and triggering the infamous infinite loop of taking damage and healing it all off, I wasn't angry. I was only laughing at the sheer fact that I was being launched across the battlefield like a pinball. So what's the real number 10? Well...
Hold on, Froggy, I'm coming!
Okay, I know it might be considered unfair that I'm singling out a boss fight played by a certain character, but come on, it's still technically a boss fight, and I will treat it as such. Okay, this fight sucks. Actually, can I even call this a fight? All you do is fish out your frog love interest and let the story do rest of the fighting. The main reason why I decided to put this fight on my list is that for a creature that has the power of 6 of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, it doesn't even take you a minute to fish out Froggy. It also doesn't help that the boss rarely attacks you. Now, I appreciate the idea of having a boss battle center around the fishing mechanic, which is why this fight is only number 10, and seeing as how that this mechanic was already so boring, I give props to Sonic Adventure for allowing me to finish Big's atrocity of a story as quickly as possible. Oh yes, this game is sweet! Fluid controls, fair difficulty, pleasant art style, an awesome soundtrack, instant addition to my game library. And the bosses aren't half bad either. Okay, you know where I'm getting at, so let's just skip to the bashing. Anyone who has played Super Meat Boy knows how atrocious this boss is, but if you somehow don't know, I'll fill you in. The main gimmick of this boss is that the pattern of Little Horn's attacks never change. He does the exact same attacks at the exact same pattern every single time. This doesn't sound that bad. In fact, you could make the argument that it sounds pathetically easy. Okay, then tell me when you actually go into the fight, you see that the boss telegraphs his attacks really well. Wait, what? It doesn't? Well, that is just absolutely and totally normal. You can't comprehend what this boss will do. There's like a frame of an animation before each of his attacks, but like you're gonna see that. Oh yeah, and screw that move where he slides his fist across the platform, also. Although I must say, this is made disgustingly appropriate by the fact that this boss resides in hell. You spend your time going through the appropriate names of each levels like Gluttony, Greed, Limbo, 4 hours of Trip telling you about his trip to Italy, beatings from Chris Brown. God! Did it again! And in the end, you are treated what seemed like a giant superior version of yourself, but in reality, it's just your retarded incarnation.
And no, I did not use that word in the way you think I did. I used it in its actual definition. You uncultured little shits.
I don't get you, Shadow of the Colossus. I don't mean I don't get the game, although I'm not known for being a fantastic player. I mean I don't get this game's popularity. People praise this game for the high artistic symbolism, the overall scale of the game, and the huge, high adrenaline pumping boss battles. Now, I like all these features, but I don't think everyone pays attention to what's in between these factors. First off, for a massive overworld like this, there could have at least been more things to do other than stabbing giant colossi, collecting lizards, and fruit. My second complaint lies in the really finicky controls. Controlling the camera is really nerky-jerky, and turning your horse in the other direction is really slow. Oh yeah, and this game has Lightning Turtle. Out of all the boss fights on this list, this one is probably the least functional. I can't really say anything new about this boss, but I can try. The main gimmick with this boss is that you have to lead into the spouting geysers in the field and use the force of the water to flip it. Okay, I said you use the force of the water to flip it. I said flip the... You had one job, bastard! Aside from the crap camera and the crap controls in this fight, the final verdict basically lies on these freaking geysers. You spend the majority of this fight walking this rock fuck on an invisible leash to the geysers that either have a short time limit before they stop spouting, or do absolutely nothing. In other fights with other colossi, they're fast-paced, adrenaline rushing, and the key word I look for in a boss fight, fun. But this boss sucks up those words, electrocutes them, and fires them at their stupid face. God, this fight sucks. What is after this fight again? Okay, you kinda make up for this. Okay, I have my limits, you know. One thing you should know about me is that, okay, I don't like stupid, and yeah, I don't like boring either, but if you really want to get on my bad graces, there is nothing worse to me than being flat annoying. In fact, that statement basically sums up the rest of this list for me. I'm that kind of person that cuts right through the BS. However, these bosses have a knack for not letting me do so. And here's the first example. Any fans of A Link to the Past knows how atrocious this boss fight is, but if you're somehow unaware, I'll fill you in. Monorm's main method of attack is that it moves around the arena, and if you make contact with him, you'll either get hit or pushed back. The only way you can kill it is if you hit its tail a few times. Now, if you haven't played this game before, you might be wondering, oh wow, that's it? Monorm sounds like a pushover.
Well, under that context, you'd be correct.
Yes, if you do get hit, there's a high chance you'll fall off the ledge. And you know what happens when, yes, when you do fall off the edge? Go on, take a guess. No, I have time. Just keep guessing. Oh, come on. I'm sure you'll guess the correct. Go to the last floor and you have to start the fight again from the very beginning. It also doesn't help that the more you hit Moldorm in one run, it'll move faster, leaving you even less time to react. Sure, you have a crap load of pots containing hearts, but they are not unlimited. If you break a pot just once, the spoils do not come back, even if you don't grab them the first time. So if you're anything like me, you might end up dying on your first run of the game, making you feel embarrassed about yourself. Okay, it's my fault that I suck.
Here come the shamans! The bleeding hearts out there whine that fur is murder, and in this case, they're abso-fucking-lutely right.
Nah. As much as I hate the shamans for being such a boring fight, I don't really have any technical issues like other people did. Everything functioned pretty well for me, minus the BS hit detection at points. So, which boss is the real Mad World representative? I'd like to call this boss Missed Potential. Like you could have figured out, this boss did have potential. This boss would have been awesome. This boss was cool, in fact. That is, until he began to attack. Frank delivers combos of insanely powerful punches. Sure, they're pretty easy to avoid, but he'll only attack you when you're near him, which you need to be in order to damage him. You know, like pretty much any boss ever. Oh, but the pain doesn't stop there. Sometimes Frank will either knock you into the water or be in a position where you have to get off the platform to attack him. This may not seem like a big deal, but Frank can electrocute the water. If you decide to stay in the water as it gets electrocuted, it will deal a crap ton of damage to you. Oh, but the pain does not stop there. Once you hit him for the first time, you have to be quick with all of your attacks. If you don't do anything about that, Frank will go back to the water and heal a crap ton of health. Why do people acknowledge the shamans only for Mad World's worst bosses again? Consider yourself lucky, Frank. You would have cracked the top 5 if you didn't have an oh-so-satisfying finisher.
Bastard to bits. A nice,
I'll be honest. For as much as I love Kid Icarus Uprising and its awesome combat, its story, its characters, its atmosphere, and its writing, I feel that most of the battles have been overrated to hell in the recent year. Don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic boss battles such as Dark Pit and Hades, but for the most part, I just found these battles to be incredibly standard. And as for the ones that aren't either amazing or amazingly dull, that's what this segment is for. Now I know what you're thinking, Hades is hard, right? Nah, not really. Sure, the fight wasn't really that good, but if you have one of those club things that can fire shots that go through walls, it's made so much easier. So for the third fake out on this list, I'm gonna stop asking myself what the actual rep is from the video game, and I'll just show you the entry. Okay, I just endured one of the absolute worst protection missions of any video game ever, and to have a boss battle that is still very annoying, it just makes me want to set myself on fire. But unfortunately, Pyron did that for me. For a boss fight that decides the fate of all worlds, the difficulty and annoyance factor was real, but that doesn't mean I like it. As soon as you go face to face with Pyron, you can't damage him, like, at all. But what you can do is hit these little light things that'll drop the shield so you can attack Pyron. Oh, but don't get too distracted by those shiny green lights there, because Pyron will set a flurry of fire-based attacks, including a fire snake, fire bombs, and a very, very, very annoying fire ring attack. Sure, you have access to a jump pad, but that fire ring closes in really quickly, so you don't have a whole lot of time to react. Add Pyron's abnormally high defenses, and the fact that the arm arc was, let's be honest, completely pointless, and you have a boss fight for the ages, guys. But before we move on, can I mention how disturbed I was at Pyron's final mugshot? At least compared to his early mugs? Well, I mean, it's not the weirdest transformation I've seen. Look at me with all these modern pop artist references again. I need friends. Had I the opportunity to audition for Ben's top 15 SNES games, I wouldn't have been dying to talk about this game since. Ah well, I have now to talk about how awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time is. God, this game is so fun. And why wouldn't a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up featuring 4 playable turtles that can talk in 90s lingo, eat pizza, and wield weapons of pain backed up by pretty visuals, a kick-ass soundtrack, hundreds of enemies to slaughter, and awesome boss battles be? Okay, I have one reason you would counter against that point. Screw this boss, 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 screw this freaking boss! Sure, this boss battle isn't really that hard. In fact, it's actually pretty easy, but it goes from easy to being flat annoying. Crane starts off by having his saucer low enough to hit with floor combos, and can either spawn a bunch of robot walkers or trap you in I will strangle you with sharp things. Sure, this is basic enough, but once you get his health low enough, oh boy. He'll begin teleporting constantly, to the point where he'll appear for a few seconds to spawn more of these footwalkers, and he'll disappear again. As it turns out, you have to kill the footwalkers in order for him to come back, so he'll spawn more of them. He'll also be high enough so only jump attacks will hit him. And this sounds worse than you think, because this game doesn't allow variance in your air attacks. You can only hit him once before he starts teleporting away, hiding from you, and sometimes you'll even miss your chance. Remember that one audition for RB Dude 98? That audition that was actually completely unmemorable, where I stated that Castle Crashers was my second favorite video game? Well, you know how opinions tend to shift over time. Yeah, this game is pretty much at the top now. Yeah, about that. You see, over the course of editing this video, I, kinda have a new favorite video game now. Yeah, so this Castle Crashers is now at number 2 again. Just shows how godlike I am. Anyway, sorry for interrupting. Back to the list. And it's a shame because my video didn't quite do this game justice. Also, I didn't really quite put my, victory into good use.
What other game have you played whose premise is the buildup of the apocalypse? I'm talking about a game that tells a story about—
Oh my god, this segment's so boring, how can anyone like that? Anyway, I digress. So why has Castle Crashers seeped its way as my favorite video game nowadays? It's still not your favorite game anymore. Whatever, sorry for interrupting again. Back to the list again. Color visuals, dubstep that doesn't make me want to punch fluffy animals, the RPG style level up system, the fact that you can join with 3 others locally and or online, well, those are nice, but the main kicker for this game is the reason why I play video games in the first place. Because it's fun! Slashing or beating up through random mooks has never been so entertaining to me in any other video game. You guys should hold your Dynasty Warriors and your Sengoku Besaris close, guys, because I've yet to play them. But unfortunately, like every good game, there's a good killjoy. Not you! That's the last fake out, I promise. Sure, I hated this boss, but come on, at least the concept is, you gotta admit, kinda cute. So instead, you'll have to deal with me screaming how much I hate this boss! Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Ty, you know this isn't that bad. You're just getting worked up a little and trying to be original. We all know the corn boss is worse. My opinion, remember that, you sluts. These are the ones I hate, not the ones that are all terrible. As I was replaying both Castle Crashers and TMNT 4, I realized something very scary. These two fights are shockingly similar. No, I'm serious. Both of these fights have some pretty annoying attacks. Both bosses have moves that can trap you, and both of these bosses puss out when they are about to die.
You know, I'll be honest, I can't come up with any good reasons as to why I hate this more than Krang. Let's see, I'll try to think of something.
Oh yeah, because the arena is covered in freaking ice! I'm sure we all know that ice in video games is just a joy to traverse through. And when a freaking boss fight has physics that make you slide on floors that feel like they've been waxed, covered in Crisco, and covered in invisible banana peels, when doing something as simple as trying to turn the other direction feels like a chore, just try telling me that's a good thing without regretting it. I dare you. Next to the ice, there's only one other stick-out thing I hate about this boss. Once he starts teleporting constantly, you know what he does? He'll teleport to one side of the arena to laugh at you, and then teleport to the other side to spawn icicles that'll rain down on you. And he'll do this with such frequency that there will be an endless amount of icicles raining down on you. Yeah, while icicles infinitely fall on your skull, the Ice King will laugh, teleport, spawn some more, 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 laugh, teleport, spawn some more. I'm done with my life!
Alice would have made a much better final boss battle than this bald-headed, buck-toothed, grating voiced, Herbie flying, Batman ripping, hurricane punching, window loving, parade ballooning, lasering, punching, grinning, killer of the ones you love, only to find out that he's not really a killer. Prick ass! You see, predictability like this is the reason why I ditched the whole random gamer thing. You know, other than being spammed as Mark's false savior.
Yes, I know that just about everyone ever has talked about this guy in one way or another. I know that there is just about nothing new to say about this boss. I freaking know about the whole Suda51 designed this fight badly on purpose theory. But you know what? I don't even care about any of those pathetic excuses for, well, excuses. I feel almost bad for the people that somehow do not know about this and its infamy. But like most other boss fights on this list, if you somehow fit in that very small portion of the Countdown community, let me take this to the top. So the fight starts off with Jasper flying around some flying car thing that can only be damaged when he charges at you. Sure, he can fire ceiling lasers, but just stay in the corner and you'll be fine. As you are slashing at this guy, bored beyond belief, you'll notice something peculiar. Jasper's health just stops going down. I mean, it's just stationary. So you guess what you gotta do now? Come on, guess. You got an answer? Okay, let me remind you how wrong you are. If you guess losing to a quick time event to trigger the plot, then you actually have heard of this boss fight before, which I say... Clever girl. Anyways, yes, you have to lose to win. Fun! So basically you sit through a cutscene that reminds you that Jasper's a little shit, and then the phase ends. Now, you might be thinking, well, that was pretty boring. What a pathetic final boss. Are you sure this is really that high on this list? Oh, you've seen nothing yet. Jasper injects some Batman serum, and then he turns into this! So now the fight goes from being easy to... So why do I need to explain why I hate this phase again? Just look at this! Jasper's hurricane punches are near impossible to dodge because his combos outlast your dodges. And if you are unfortunate enough to be in the range of his combos while in front of a window, you die. Simple as that. There's really nothing else to this phase. You get punched a lot and you die to the Batman Clown Posse. So if you're fortunate enough to beat this phase, you have one more to go. You want to know what this leads up to? Are you sure you want to know what this leads up to? Oh, I'll tell you. fighting a samurai that can summon a laser dragon, a reaper that wields 2 sniper scythes, a Soviet Union astronaut that has the power of the laser of God, and a Marluxia Grievous combo that teaches our protagonist the horrors of killing, leads up to the climactic finale of fighting an inflatable. You're serious, Suda? Are you truly serious? This is outrageous. This is truly outrageous. Man, finding a balloon that can shoot the whoop and punch you from anywhere in the room, treated with a camera that gives a little more vision than sharp things in your eyes, is just the epitome of brilliant boss design. And speaking of, there's something I have to address. There are people out there that are defending this fight. Why? Because they are quipping that Suda intentionally designed this fight terrible to make the player feel unsatisfied with following Travis's quest for revenge. No! If that was the case, then why would Suda go around trying to symbolize the ever-loving shit out of a game where you kill hundreds of mooks in satisfying combat? This is exactly like a developer advertising a game that features a hot chick with laser tonfa. But when you go to play that game, the villain kills off her pet kitten, and then designs the final confrontation intentionally unpleasant because the developer said, "Hey, you picked up the game to follow her quest, now suffer!" The point I'm getting at is that why advertise something that features something we all love, only to develop something bad on purpose just to make us feel bad for playing or even watching your product that you advertised? This literally makes no sense to me. While this may seem like a decent idea for something to watch, it doesn't necessarily make it fun when you are the center control of what happens in your game from a gameplay standpoint. And because of all this, any defenses for this boss are, in my opinion, completely unjustified. So after a really long segment of me discussing my hatred for what is now widely considered to be the second worst anything in video games, what compares to my number one? Well, my number one combines tropes that I've listed before and blends them all into a mess of pure hatred. This fight takes forever to end, has high priority in its attacks, hits you like a truck, wasted potential, lets something beyond your control finish the fight, and is overall a very annoying fight, which is the last thing I'd like to feel, annoyed. And if I'm gonna have to discuss a fight that combines all of these qualities, then there is no fight that does as worse of a justice to me than Kabuto Yakushi from Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst.
That's... It's too late for regrets. You've been in my power since the very beginning.
Okay, before I talk about this fight, allow me to demonstrate my feelings towards Kabuto Yakushi. I absolutely hate this guy! I don't really hate him for his actions, although using a bunch of corpses of your enemy's loved ones doesn't make me love anyone. Nah, I hate this guy for his personality and development. At first, he was a calm, cool-headed guy who was kind enough to give Naruto and his friends some help through the Forest of Death, but come afterwards, and he turns out to be Orochimaru's right-hand man. Nowadays, he's trying way too hard to be this stylish fighter type.
Taijutsu isn't a specialty of mine, but...
Well, got me there. Good one, Kabuto. Oh yeah, he also tries way too hard to be a troll. He may look dead, but when you think you got him, he can just go ahead and just heal off all of his wounds, even though he shoved in our throats that he's a medical ninja. Fast forward to the war, and all of a sudden, he goes from a nobody to one of the most important characters in the entire Naruto continuity. Look at him though! How did he get Orochimaru's power? How is he able to perform the ultimate fanservice jutsu to summon characters that we either love, don't care about, or don't even know at all? Is he gonna go out of his way to explain any of this? Nah, we got no time for that. There is a war brewing! While I played through Storm 3, I was massively disappointed that I wasn't able to give Kabuto his just desserts. I heard rumors that there was gonna be DLC, but I didn't feel like caring. Comes to the Full Burst trailer, and I was hyped beyond belief because I was happy to know that the rumors were true, even though I shrugged them off in the first place. Why was I happy? Because I was finally gonna give that snake fuck Kabuto as much punishment as I wanted to. And to make it even better, I got to fight him as the Uchiha brothers, one of which managed to escape Kabuto's control with his own visual jutsu. Keep in mind, he is dead! How can this fight possibly fail?
Well, it's number one for a reason.
Before I get to the fight itself, don't worry guys, it comes sooner than you think. How about that design, huh? I have no idea what I'm looking at. The snake coming out of his stomach? Yeah, okay. So now we can talk about this fight. This fight is just bland. Seriously, can you get any more standard than this? There are like little to no hype factors whatsoever, and all it is just you pressing buttons to hear Sasuke, Itachi, and Kabuto talk about how they're gonna kill each other. But when you get to the quick time event sequences, it gets even worse. How? Well, how about we start off with this?
Well done. But I have been perfected, and a little wound like this is nothing to me.
He was almost dead. I had him. But apparently not, because he thought it was just a small wound and it isn't. So now the, perfectly fine Kabuto does some shit. Sasuke and Itachi look absolutely Gucci with their Susanoo forms. Itachi saves Sasuke's ass after Kabuto does some sort of ear rape jutsu, and then...
You seem to be planning something, but nothing you do can affect me now. I have every ability there is. No one can touch me.
Hey there, is that new stomach? What, did that last one expire? Huh.
So the fight begins again, and oh, are you serious? How do you have 5 health bars now? Well, let's also make him take absolutely no damage from your attacks. Seriously, your ultimate jutsu does only half of a health bar as opposed to usually doing 1. Let's also make him incredibly fast, have high priority in his attacks, make those attacks crazy powerful, and to top it all off, let's give him infinite substitutions while you only have to use 4 and slowly gain them back. Awakened characters are already massive bitches to fight, but they don't come close to fighting this. So when you reach certain points of his health, he'll go to the background and perform some deadly attacks. These include rushing at you with high speeds, summoning giant rocks to ram you with, placing massive webs, and doing with these freaking ghosts! Dodging any of these attacks requires the absolute most perfect timing and precision, or you will get hit. Trust me, dodging these is much harder than it looks. Oh, and did I forget to mention that he's using the powers of the Sound Ninja 4 and not his own? Just shows originality right there. By the way, all of these look absolutely grotesque! Once you beat this boss after enough times to fill in Yzmat's health bar, there's one last quick time event sequence to go through, and I'll be honest, it's actually pretty boring. Well, at least after—
I have Lord Orochimaru's power.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Am I the only one who's absolutely sick of seeing Orochimaru? Yes, he gave Sasuke the curse mark, which caused the ultimate turning point of the series, but by the time the Shippuden era came along, he was absolutely useless to the story because of more important and interesting things. Like, oh, I don't know, Naruto discovering the true potential of his tailed beast, Sasuke seeking out to destroy the Hidden Leaf, the entire Akatsuki. Gee, those might be important. Anyways, Kabuto pulls another surprise troll event. And be prepared to be stuck in visual limbo, guys. Before Kabuto revealed his Sage Mode's true potential, Itachi was preparing his own jutsu called Izanagi. Get a wider video game selection. What this does is that it basically traps the victim in a visual limbo, leaving his or her body stationary. And unfortunately for us, we get to experience this on our own. Kabuto and Itachi clash.
Sasuke, stay close to me.
And they do so again.
Sasuke, stay close to me.
Okay, I get it. You don't have to repeat yourself. Okay, I get it. You don't have to repeat yourself. Okay, I get— Thank you.
And then Kabuto's just not even there anymore. To him, he's still fighting Sasuke and Itachi, but to the rest of the world, he's just standing there. All stationary. But to me, he should be put into a chain of never-ending torture. I hate everything about this fight. I hate how Itachi's been building up a super jutsu just to not see Kabuto suffer. I hate how boring these quick time event sequences are. I hate how they made the fight to end Kabuto's reanimation jutsu's effects into a round of patience testing. I hate how unbelievably tacted on the Sound Ninja 4 and especially Orochimaru were. But most of all, I hate how cheap Kabuto is with his insanely fast and powerful attacks and his health which is too high and too defensive. Sure, Madara also has 5 health bars, but at least the fight with him changes not only the difficulty, but the gameplay for each phase, and a fight that also uses the environment to his advantage, and takes damage like anyone else. You know, for the established god of the franchise, the fight with Madara is totes more fair and memorable than fighting this stupid, snake-faced failure of a Hazama wannabe! You know what? I don't care about Sasuke and Itachi's reconciliation at the moment. This just fucking blows.
I've been the Digital Pioneer, and let's see how many countdowns I can scrap before I make the next one. I've been the Digital Pioneer, and let's see how... I did it again! Why?